I'm tired. You should be tired. It's late, so we're going to push through this kind of quickly, give you time to meet, talk, greet each other, maybe do some business, something like that. So anyway, my name is John Whaley. Again, I appreciate everyone coming out. It's a mixture between the folks that heard this on the radio show on the EEHOUR on Saturday on News 92 FM, the Houston Executive Meetup Group, ThatVideoMagazine, Houston Business Weekly, all my friends and colleagues online. So we want to keep it as small as possible, which I think we did an okay job. We had about 30, 40 people RSVP, and I just don't want to run out of food. The main purpose of tonight is to share with you some of the concepts that I've worked on for a few years in developing businesses to really help solo entrepreneurs, to help people scale up. What I've found is over and over again that at some point your business gets so big you can't make money anymore. And that could be when you hit $100,000, that could be when you hit $15 million. But the same thing kept happening over and over again with myself and my colleagues. You hire people, they stink, they take everything, you buy software, it doesn't work, you try to do everything through all these different sources and nothing works out for you. So I said there's got to be a better way. So for the longest I've been trying to, thank you. Oh, it just got real in here. All right, good, I don't have to yell. Yes. Aww. Okay, so for the longest I've been trying to figure out how do I make things easier for myself, because over and over again I bring on a team of people, I spend a lot of money, things don't happen, even on air, okay? So I'm on air, we're on News 92 FM every weekend, and I'm thinking, how hard could it be? You know, PR people come, they go, advertisers come, they go, people come on the show. You would think somebody would stop and say, hey, this guy's on air, we should leverage it, we should push him out, we should do something big. But it doesn't happen. We had different businesses over time that it was the same thing. We had awesome products. But for some reason, which we'll kind of go over, it just didn't work out. So, to get into it, it's a mindset. So by the time we're done, I'm hoping each of you could kind of split the rail between thinking like a small business owner that's a manager, using all that good corporate skill and all that leadership training, all that stuff, and think more or a little bit more like an investor, a person that simply uses a business as an investment instrument, which is really not what they teach in a lot of business courses. So, with my movie, to give you an idea, this is me. I played a lot of sports, and the sport that stood out the most was football, because I was in charge of the team. I was the quarterback. So I had to keep 10 guys doing their job and 11 guys from trying to kill me. So you carry this on in life because it's no different now. I do quite a bit of public speaking for the SCORE, the SBA, the Port of Houston, Metro. All these groups pull me in to come in and give different presentations on different things based on, hey, John, as a small business owner, what would you tell another small business owner? Sometimes they're mad, sometimes they're happy when I leave. Like I said, life is your movie, so you should really think it through, because I'm at 44 now, so that means most of my movie's over, okay? Most of my movie's over, reality. So I had to think about over the years, how did I want my movie to play out? Did I want it to be drama? Did I want it to be like, you know, Solange slapping Jay-Z in the elevator or Donald Sterling saying something? No. I want it to be fun. I want it to be like Iron Man Part 12. I want it to be like, I can't even think of the movie with all the old guys that were action heroes back in the day. Who can think of it? Expendables. Okay, we have our first prize right here. Yes. Shay has it, yes. The Expendables. You know, I call up my buddies and say, hey guys, let's do something fun. So I got on this fitness thing because I went to the doctor and they did the whole blood lab run up, all that stuff. And like with many of my friends, blood sugar isn't quite right, blood pressure's a little through the roof, things are going south. And remember, my movie is more than halfway over. So in order to make it an interesting movie, I have to step it up. So I like to do stuff that has to do with flying, parachuting, anything kind of dangerous like that. I just finished teaching at A. Taylor High School. Saunders Foundation put together a Young Entrepreneurs Program. So what that basically entailed is HCC teamed up with A. Taylor High School. We had 30-some kids enroll. We had 13 kids graduate, in which they raised money. Abe was in the audience. He was actually one of the business advisors, one of the mentors that came in and helped out. He has a very successful business here in Houston. And so it was just really fun. So for fall and spring, I got to work with these young people and a bunch of business leaders in the community to help them start, run, operate. They're actually doing a business now. Prior to that, I was with the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Initiative. I was on the kickoff team. I was one of the business advisors for that. So I got to work with the 153 different businesses that came through. And so I got to hear the same thing over and over again. I kept thinking, why did you leave this program, but you're still going to workshops? Why did you go to the workshop, but you're still looking for help? Somebody's missing something. Someone's not telling you something for you to keep looking for the same thing over and over again. Somebody gave me an award. I got real excited. It's the cool thing about how network. We got an extra space. You want to take an award? Yeah, sure. Okay. I'm going to preach a lot about you got to, well, let me go back. I'm going to preach a lot about you got to be in the loop, okay? Small business owners get so focused and they get so turned inward that they forget at the end of the day, in order to make money, you have to be hanging with money, period. There's no way around it. You can SEO all you want to. You can tweet all you want to. You can network at chambers all you want to. But if you're not hanging with the money, you're not going to be part of the money. And I see a lot of people burning energy. So this is just my badge from the 2013 Houston Region Economic Outlook, because I'm part of the Houston Economic something group. I don't know. But anyway, I'm part of all these groups because these people know where the bodies are buried. And if they have 10, 15-year plans and I want to be wealthy and not rich, it pays to be in the meeting when they're actually thinking of what kind of pie are we going to make, how are we going to cut up the pie, how are we going to hand out the pie, and who's going to get to eat the pie. So for the most part, when business owners finally hear about it, whether it's in the back of the Houston Business Journal or whatever it is, it's old news. By the time City Council starts voting on it and put it out there, the City Department puts an RFP out or an RFI, it's old news. You're late. So now you're just one in the many, sitting at the line complaining about why you couldn't get a contract, why you couldn't be the prime, why you couldn't get in on it. So I spend as much time as possible doing that. Yes, as I said, I do the radio show. Those are the Mallons. They're awesome. And so there's a picture of me doing radio. Anyway, so the thing that kind of runs my life goes like this. I enjoy being able. Because at the end of the day, we're all not able. You know, I have friends often that, make sure we're on, that one day they're healthy, the next day they're not. One day they're rich, the next day they're broke. Life changes really fast. So I'm always thankful each day when I get up and I'm able. I like learning. I can't say that for everybody. Not for the sake of just doing it, but for the sake of I can enjoy doing things. So as you can see by the pictures, I get around. I appreciate growth. I love seeing people that are growing dynamically, doing big things. It's just like, it brings goosebumps. And lastly, even when I'm the best, I'm never good enough. That's one of the things that I picked up early on, the sports side of things. I was never, ever good enough. So, you know, when I was sitting here applying for this job for 10,000 small business, and I'm looking around the room and I'm thinking, wow, I'm going up against this guy and that lady, and geez, these are the best in the world applying for this position. And then I got the job, I thought, wow. For the moment, they picked me, I must be the best. But once I got in there, I realized I still wasn't good enough. It worked out I was, but anyway. So, let's get down to it. Ideas, actions, business. Laura came up with this awesome title, so I worked around it. Now, one of the best quotes I've heard in a long time, other than one Warren Buffett has, was this deal by Mark Twain, which said, it ain't what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It is what you know for sure that just ain't so. And so when I'm dealing with business owners, I see this over and over again because they can only understand from the space in which they visited. So if all you've ever been is corporate, the only thing you understand is corporate. If all you've ever been is government, all you can understand is government. If all you've ever been is a small business owner that can't walk out the door because no one's here to relieve you to go to the bathroom and you don't want the guy on the Segway to come by and write you a $1,500 ticket for closing your doors, that's all you know. If all you know is an employee, you don't know anything else. And so what happens is you start telling yourself anything to support what you know. So I get corporate people coming in trying to talk small business. That's why I hate seeing the two of them mix up. So a corporate person comes in here and they start giving you corporate advice. Chances are if you're a small business owner, it's not going to make any sense because that person's speaking from someone that has 5 departments of support, 18 layers of assistance. And they're giving you all this, how to get in shape, how to run your business, how to set up your SOP, and it doesn't make sense. And so it's amazing that when I meet people and they're adamant about being an expert in their field, it's hard for them to understand is that works in your circle, but it doesn't work all the way across the board. I recently got into a small tweeter beef scuffle with an individual that claimed something to the effect of, well, how are you a business person and you don't really, what did you say, something about accounting. And I had to explain to her, accounting is for small business. That gets you rich. Economics is for wealth. Okay? Huge difference. To turn inwards, worry about your business, that's cool. You can get as rich as you want to be. You can crunch corners and pinch pennies, but if you want to be wealthy, you got to understand how value and economics work. So, with that said, we're here in the store because I use just about everything in this store. That's just how it works out, no matter what type of equipment you put it on. So the workflow for me happens to go something like, got to have internet connection. I once said, like 10 years ago, as long as you have a laptop, internet connection, you can run the world, literally, unless you're a manager-style small business owner. Because when I'm with my friends in the investment community, they're not pinned to an office. You have analysts that are sitting there crunching away, but the folks that actually move the money around the world are in meetings. They meet with their buddies, they talk about how much you want this time, okay? And they keep going. And so I'm trying to get individuals like yourself to start thinking like, how can I run my business like an investment? How can I stop running my business like it's my baby, it's my passion, it's all I know? You should be able to walk away from your business and sleep at night whether it lives or dies, okay? But if you can't, you're going to make a lot of it ain't what you don't know mistakes. Because at SCORE, I was with SCORE for 10 years. I finally got the volunteer thing was killing me, okay? I'd given. So for 10 years, I heard people say one thing, it's my baby, it's my passion, it's what I know. And I'm thinking, your baby's not going to make it. It needs to go to NICU. It's not going to make it. And they're thinking, no, if I just believe and hold on. And I'm thinking, you don't understand the simple laws of money. It starts at the top, it trickles down. If you're not standing underneath that tree, you don't get any of it. And so, as long as you got internet connection, as long as you got a piece of equipment that can do some fancy stuff on it, and as long as you got a decent idea, as long as you have a decent idea, you can do a lot of stuff. So what happens is, even with this event, I'm sitting there, and I'm a huge notebook person. I have like stacks of notebooks. I love scribbling on paper ideas as they hit me. So most of my ideas start right here, workflow-wise, pen and paper. Start scribbling along. I get an idea, start pushing. Then I do a Google search. If you don't do Google search, hey, I mean, everything in the world has been indexed, cataloged, and made possible. So there's never a moment when you know less than anybody else. From there, I use OneNote, which is built into most of y'all's Office package. So I go into OneNote and I start copying and pasting and sticking and plugging, and it works like a file cabinet for me. So now I can go to my phone or anywhere else and say, hey, where did I put that website that I found? I'll go to my OneNote folder. Here it is. Click on it right from where I started. Next, I go to Outlook. So now I got to start setting up dates and calendars. Okay, for this event, we got to meet and discuss this. We got to do all these wonderful things. Great. Start sending emails. Get people going. Visio is one of those products that I used way back in the past. But thanks to a couple upgrades and the way they change stuff up, I use it all the time now because I'm a mind map person. I don't like words. I like to see a map. I like to see how it's going to roll out. So I went back to using Visio again. So literally, we'll sit here, figure out what I want to do, and I'll have a big circle that says market. And then there'll be a little line that comes out of it that says marketing channel in, distribution out. Then it'll say segments about, you know, what's the characteristics of these people. And you just see this mind map grow. Take all that after a couple nights rest, and I start loading up variables into Excel. So now that I have a mind map, I go back and start asking mathematical questions. How many people in the market? How much do those folks make? Where do they go? And so we load it up, and there's plenty of templates online because I didn't have the patience to hire more experts, more individuals to, hey, I can build you a template, I can do all this. No, they already put the stuff online, and then there's people who sit around all day and make cool templates for Excel. So I get stuff loaded up in Excel, so now I got numbers, which is another Achilles heel for business owners. They hate numbers, but they're in business to make money. That's a fascinating concept. So then I push it over to project. So with that Goldman Sachs thing, we're a growth plan, a business plan, all this other stuff. Never been a fan of it. Never been a fan of business plans. I like project management because then I know it's going to get done. Business plan says Acme Company is going to do the following. We're going to hire 8 people, and we're going to dance every day, and we're going to do all this great stuff. We're going to get a VP of sales, but it doesn't tell me anything that can fit in Excel. Matter of fact, the numbers, and I'm Shark Tanks, a lot of Shark Tanks. And so what I get is weak numbers because they're attached to nothing but a dream and some data they pulled down from a website. And then next to that, there is like no meat whatsoever as to validate the market itself. Like if you tell me your business is going to grow 20% and I say, where's the money going to come from? Customers. I figured that part out, but where are your customers going to come from? Well, I'm going to advertise and market and then I'm going to get customers. I'm like, but where do they work? Where do they go to church? Who's paying them? Where's their money coming from? And so this part, I don't give a, who's the business expert or business advisor? It's rarely in the plan. We go as deep to say, if your money is coming from XYZ Corporation, where's that corporation getting their money? Once we figure out where that corporation's getting their money, we know the shelf life of your as a customer. So right now, I know if you live in West Texas or West Houston, your shelf life as a customer is dwindling fast. Because as these companies start rolling up the money and heading out to Baytown to start production, all these folks out here that are making good money on the west side aren't going to do so well. Because we already know. When I'm sitting in those economic development meetings, and the guy from, what's his name, from Rice, who's always doing the, there's more brown people. Okay, give him one. No, no, we're not giving you one. Steve, here we go, Steve Kleinberg. She gets something, give her something. So when he comes up with this obvious statement like, and the town's getting browner, and all the money's going here, like, whoa, that was incredible. Where's that data from? Okay, that was just, wow. So when you follow this stuff, you quickly learn, like I said, where you're supposed to be. So we use project was the whole point of that. Project, I live and die by project management. The reason being is when you want to scale up and you want to start working with larger contracts and larger corporations and things like that, the person on the corporate side can absolutely appreciate you at this point because they realize, oh, wow, you have common sense. Incredible. So you can tell me the task, you can tell me the scope, you can tell me all this, and you can change it on the fly. Literally, they're excited. Whereas most small business owner, whether it's the 2,500 certified through whatever agency to do whatever business, they'll hand me a business plan. And it'll say, in 5 years, we plan to do the following, because I just believe. And it doesn't work. Once it pulls out a project, then we start writing up the stuff. We use Word. There's plenty of templates again. So we figure out who, what, where, why. Then we make all these fancy documents. We store it in the cloud. Next, we go to publisher because a lot of times we need some really cool flyers or something. And I'm not going to sit there and pay somebody on Fiverr or whatever to create something. There's a template already there. So we need a quick meeting coming up. We go into publisher, get up the template. We need some quick business cards for a few people. We go in and we send it out. It's done. And then lastly, PowerPoint. When it's time to give the pitch, give the presentation, train the employees, train whatever, we load it up in PowerPoint and we're good to go. So with that said, that's the workflow. That's how I use it. Sometimes they jump around in order-wise, but I can tell you the part most small business owners are missing is they can't see the big picture of their business. They absolutely cannot see the big picture of their business. If I show you any business that I have in my mind, you get it instantly because it's a map. But when you hand me a 20-page document that basically you copied and pasted half of it off the internet, and it says the exact same thing the other 30 says, I can't do anything for you. So with that said, everybody okay? Good. All right, so business. Let's just start with from the back. So business, action, idea. So business to me, it's not about the store or filing an LLC and all that other fun stuff. Business is simple as the science of allowing conditional access to resources you control and others need or want that have something of value you want to trade for. This is the hardest thing for business owners to understand. At the end of the day, you make money by doing something somebody else wants. If you walk into the store right now and you just start picking things up and walking out, what's going to happen? The segways are going to come out of nowhere, the mall cops are going to jump in, and you're going to be on the floor TSA style, right? So they figured out a way to stop you from getting what you want until you trade something of value to them, namely credit card or cash. That is business. Has been since the whole trade 5 chickens for 6 eggs and use your boat to go over and get more fish. It will never change. So as business owners, when you get lost in the whole, yeah, we got to have a presence online and we got to go to lots of network meetings and we got to, no, at the country club, it's, what do you got? I got a salt mine. What are you going to do with it? I don't know. I'll trade you 5 oil barrels a day for a couple hundred barrels of salt and I'll throw in some cattle. I'll do you better. I got a private jet. Yeah, my wife's been aching for that. All right, let's make a deal. Have your corporate people take care of it. Anybody seen this before? It's reality. And then it's your job as the employee to scramble around and make it happen. Make it happen, because if you don't, just like with this big old company here, you get fired. If they don't meet the performance objectives, you're out the door. We'll find somebody else that's hungrier. So you think about your role in all this, and so you're always thinking, how can I find something in a small town, a big town, overseas, or wherever, that I can control? and that I can find people who want this stuff and figure out a way to give it to them just piece by piece as they pay me. That's the name of the game. That's why intellectual property is so hot. That's why people ran out and bought every conceivable domain name you could think of, because there's a huge demand for it. There's a huge demand, and they control it because it's easy to control that. You just buy it, you hold it. It's not like property where you got to keep it up and pay taxes and all that. So with that said, we're clear on business. That's how I think. When people say I have a business, I'm like, you make any money at it? No. Well, then there must not be a demand, or you must not have control over it. That's why it's so hard for people to understand when you get into, and I literally made these slides up today not to bore you. So anyway, let's go on. So value. Ask yourself, do you run in rare circles, or are you with the commodities group? In other words, in what you do, are there thousands of you, or is there only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You don't have to raise your hand, but think about it. And that's why sometimes I take shots at people trying to start Twitter beef. When I say that's cool that you're on XYZ platform, but you and everybody else is on XYZ platform. That's cool that you do it that way, but everybody else is there. So what makes you hot? Because in this world, value is based on how rare something is. If you will buy Batman's cape for $10 million, but you will not give $30 to your church, you think about the value of commodities, and you think about the value of having something rare. And it's hard for people to understand. That's why I say I never jump in markets where it's already saturated, unless I'm going straight to the top and I'm going to be part of the distribution channel. So ask yourself that. These are the questions, and we'll figure out a way. Email me. I'll send you the slide set. I don't know how many of you have ever asked yourself, how much are you worth? Seriously, how much are you worth to yourself and to the market, more importantly? Most people couldn't give me a number if they tried. A lot of folks that have just left their job can kind of ballpark figure, well, they were paying me 70 or they were paying me 105 at the last job, so I figure I'm awesome, so I must be worth double that. Especially if we went through a staffing agency, because they were taking half of your money anyway. So you got to start asking yourself, how much are you worth? Customers. And this is what I was talking about a little earlier. It's hard for people in business, whether you sell real estate or whatever you do, to understand the mindset of a customer, because you get lost in it. And you don't realize that in our world, a customer is driven by one or two things, either guilt or ego. That's it. Guilt or ego. Only two emotions that exist in the whole universe, guilt or ego. And I'll see these fluffy marketing campaigns where it's like, our company's the greatest, I've been doing this for 20 years, I want to save the earth, I. No one cares. Until I can say to you, if you don't use us, your family's going to leave you. If you don't use us, your friends aren't going to talk to you anymore. Or I got to say to you, if you use us, you'll be the coolest person in your clique. You'll be the only person on the block that has this. You got to go one or the other way. The next time you're sitting there watching TV, you watch real money, not the little local ads. You watch real money ads. These folks in psychology and sociology have perfected the art of getting you to wear, do, and say things at the drop of a dime. That's what we do. So I got to wake up every morning and figure out how to guilt or trip you into doing something. So, with that said, you think about your customers. There's no trade, there's no money to be made without customers. And I can't tell you how many business owners I know that have a business, but no customers. And I'm like, well, how are you in business? Well, you know, it's going to work out if I just believe. I'm going to write a business plan and get some cards and start networking. The big step here is the red or blue pill, kind of like the whole Matrix thing. You got to, at this moment, start thinking about life like, am I going to continue to be a manager of my business? Or am I going to be an investor? In other words, are you going to worry about your ego or the market's ego? Period. That's why the other day I'm sitting with the business owner and I'm like, hey, let's do this and we can do that. And they just passed a new bill and that means we can funnel money quickly. And they just sat there like, that's not what I'm feeling. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, let me say it another way. There's money in them heels. I don't see it. You don't see a guaranteed source of income that has been underwritten by the taxpayers. I just had my mind set on this. The ego kicks in. The ego kicks in. That's why I started doing these sessions, because I hate having to spend 5 weeks sitting with a client only to take this microphone and crack them across the head with it because they've wasted my time. Because they want to keep reverting back to, no, it's my business. I don't want anybody else in my business. Investors will line up 20, 30, 40, 50, a million, 6 million deep to get in on a deal, right? Something goes public, what happens? All the investors come together and they rally the call. But a small business owner, get on Shark Tank, I respect your opinion, Mr. Basketball player owner, but I feel that my cookie stand is the best cookie stand ever, and I'm not giving up 25% of a cookie stand. I worked too hard on this. Are you serious right now? But that's 90% of all business owners in the world. The world. Because in your mind, all you know is, just like working here, this is my store. This is my territory. This is my route. This is my job. And now I'm over everybody else because I own it. And so when people come to try to give you money, they can't because they know you're stuck here, meaning you're running into the ground before you raise the value of it. So just make sure you're checking your ego in and letting the market's ego out. Make them feel good. That's why this store's so pretty. They're stroking my ego. I'm like, I want to buy everything over here one day and sit down and play. Okay, so plans or procedures. Ask yourself this. Hey, honey, do we have plans or do we have procedures? So I can walk into most businesses, and if you did your articles and all that stuff according to the state, you got a lot of plans. You got all kinds of plans tucked away. Every time something hits you like, this is what we're going to do. Let's plan it. And you write down a bunch of scribbly scrap and you look up some stuff. And then I ask you, do you have operating procedures for every task, every resource, everything in your business? No, who does that? Who's got time for all that nonsense? So how do you walk away from your business and allow a chimpanzee or an elephant or a robot to do the work? Well, I trust people. I'll get a good worker. I'll find somebody qualified. John, I don't think it's too hard to find. Like, okay, so let me understand this. You've written plenty of business plans, but if you had to walk away from your company, it's going to tank because the person you left in place, they have no direction whatsoever. Well, like I said, I get some pretty good people, and it works out sometimes. And so you got to ask yourself, you can have this idea written down, but do you have it mathematically mapped out? Again, this store exists because a team of people sat down and said, what are the numbers on it? How long do we have to be open per day? How many people need to be in this store? What's the build out? And so in the business plan, most of you put the cost in there. Yeah, this is what I think it'll cost. But you don't have the ROI in there. You don't have the burnout. You don't have any of that stuff in there. And that's the difference between one person starting a business, other than they're connected, and struggling, get to 2 million, 3 million, maybe tops, always frustrated, burn through the family, burn through the money, just working. And the person that has 15 trucks sitting out at the Holiday Inn, brand new, all in white with their names on the side while they're in the islands chilling. Because this person knows, like, if you don't follow the rules, the procedure, I can catch you. I have systems in place. And most of us have worked under systems, yet we don't put them in our business. And, I had a discussion the other day. They keep going back to me saying, well, yeah, I get it, but I need fast money. Because most people that come to me that want to start a business, unfortunately, especially with SCORE, they're broke already. And when you're broke already, all you want is money right when? Now. You're not trying to hear all that. Yeah, John, I hear what you're saying, but that's so far down the road. Like, no, because you're going to be, okay, well, maybe if we start now, we can. So just start thinking to yourself, hey, do we have plans in place or do we have standard operating procedures for everything? Everything. When we buy stuff, especially small business owners, why don't you do RFPs, RFQs, RFIs, RF anything? Why don't you request for information? Why do you just walk up in the stores and buy the stuff? Why do you just take the first air conditioning guy that comes in? Why do you take the first web developer that says, I build websites, I do WordPress, I do it all. I've been doing it for so long now, I'm good. Look at this, I built this one for my sister. And you take these clowns at face value. And then you're upset when what? They run off, they don't fix it, and then they took your domain name with them. So you got to get in the habit of buying like a company and stop buying like a manager with a P card or something. Okay, so the action. Here's what we do. Any questions on that last section? This is supposed to be interactive, but I'm trying to get us through it. So if you have questions, speak up. Okay, so doing what works versus doing what feels good. This is really hard for people to get over because most people that get into business are like, I'm so glad I don't have to put up with them. I'm finally get to do me, and it's just a whole list of it. And so going back to the investor mentality, we get into things we don't like. We get into things that we don't like because those things make money and we like money and we can do things we actually like with the money. Crazy how it goes full circle. So when I'm sitting there with the business owner, I'm asking, hey, does this make you feel good? Oh yeah, I could do this for free. That's why when we get massage therapists, certain professional services just don't work. That's why it took a massage envy to finally gather them all up, stick them in one little spot, and run numbers on them. Otherwise, you got one little salon here, one little boutique there, one little, because they love what they do. Okay, keep it real. It sounds obvious, right? So when it comes down to it, I always try to encourage them, do not make decisions based on guilt or ego, period. And this is a hard one for people to understand. When you fake it in the investment community, the rest of the community does not know when to help you. That's the problem. That's why I have real issue with people who fake it until they make it. Okay? So it's one thing to sit here and say, hey, things aren't great, or no, life is perfect and I'm the best in the world, when it's not, because one day it's going to rear its ugly head. And that's why I'm quick to, I won't wear all my emotions on my sleeve, but I'll let you know, I don't like doing radio, I don't like the following, I do it because it makes money and it works. Okay? That's it. Period. And people think you're supposed to go out and give this rosy story to your business partners. You're not. And they think you're supposed to say, hey, you know, if we team up, let's get rich. I hear, hey, John, let's team up, we're going to get rich. I hear that at least 3 times a week. That's how they open with me. And I'm thinking, well, you're not rich now, you're going to help me get rich. Well, no, I got this idea and I got this concept and it's going to work and we're going to get rich. I'm like, well, okay, prove it mathematically. Well, you know, we're going to get a website and we're going to be #1 in Google search. So keep it real, to yourself if anybody. Stay connected. So when it comes to staying connected, the big thing is you either, in this universe, in this world where we are, you have to either be connected to the people who own the stuff, whatever the stuff is, or you have to be connected to the people who influence the people. So you either got to be with the most popular person in the room that could just snap their finger and everybody will wear it, buy it, sell it, smoke it, whatever, or you got to be the person that supplies the stuff. So in other words, you're either BFF with ExxonMobil, and they give you all the contracts you want because you're in. Yeah, sure, drill, drop beads, whatever you want. You're our buddy. You're #1. We have the stuff the world wants, and we can pass through you. Or you need to control the market itself, and you need to influence them. And you need to be able to say, hey, you know, especially these people with 5,000 people on their Facebook page. You need to be able to say, this is where I'm going to go. You should come try it too. So in this world, you either control the people or the things they want. Everything in between, you just manage your material. Okay? So that's why it's okay if you don't have a lot of money, you build a huge following. And if you have a little money in your change, you go out and buy stuff people want. There's nothing wrong with being the only grocery store in a town of 28,000 people. It pays well. There's nothing wrong with being the only used car dealership in a town of 15 or 10,000 people. You don't have to be in a city this large and play the crab in the bucket game. So stay connected to the people who own, the people who influence. That's why I'm big on running with the big dogs and all that other stuff. Because when you go to these chamber functions and everybody's like hoping each other will be each other's customer, it's not a very good mixture. When everybody wants to network and compare ideas from the same narrow perspective, it's not a good mixture. What can you learn from somebody that's just sitting in the same meeting you're sitting in? Not much. So you got to think about that when you're allocating time over the rest of the year. Where am I going to spend my time? You should always be hanging out with people that can put you up. Because I can tell you, who you eat with and who you sleep with can wipe you out, people. All right. Connect. Sadly, people hate hearing this, but my job in life is to help you in life learn how to connect greed to need. How many of you have some type of investment, retirement plan of some sort? You're greedy. You want to literally live off the work of others. Just like the hedge fund guys, just like the bankers, just like everybody else in finance. You want to sit at home and look and see, I'm glad I made some extra money. Look at that, yielded almost 15%. And I didn't have to do anything. So once you understand that concept and realize you're part of it, it's important to realize when you're talking money to people that are greedy, that's what they want to hear. And your job is to go out and find people that are needy. Because for right now, I mean, hey, consumers are awesome. I love them. Look around you. Look around. Look where you're at. You're in the #1 consumer haven in the world. You're in the Galleria. A lot of these stores are making some Galleria-type money. It is. And so you got to understand that. Look, I'm building my company, John. How do I grow it? Are you connecting greed with need? You can finance any deal on earth if you can show that they can make more money at it. There's more money sitting on the sideline than there'll ever be people intelligent enough to use it. And that's hard for people. That's why the money's sitting offshore. Billions and trillions of dollars sit offshore because they realize, if I give it to you, what are you going to do with it? Follow my dreams. I always want to open a mobile wash for RVs. Really? That's what you want to do? It just sounds like a great idea. My RV was dirty once. Those are the type of things we hear. So you're always looking for greedy folks that got money to burn, because for them, money means nothing. Money only matters to the working class. So you kind of know. Money does not matter to those that own stuff because they're there for the value. See, if I own farmland, money means nothing to me. And I do another session on what we call, I'm a social economic translator. I help rich people talk to poor people and poor people understand rich people kind of thing. And the goal is to help you learn the language. So when you start talking money to somebody that owns 28,000 acres with mineral rights, you're like, what do you got to either extend the value of what I own or increase the value of what I own. Those are the only two things they understand. Just like if you own a house. Throw your house to somebody, I can come and help you make more. I can make money for your house. I'm like, how are you going to make money for my house? That doesn't even make sense. I own a house. But if I say to you, I can increase the value or extend the life and the value of it, then you're like, now that makes sense. You're talking my language. How much you need? Show me the return on it. So, greed and need. Be organized. Oh my gosh, this is, okay. I know it's hard when you're your own person, but you got to stay organized, and that's why I showed you all that Microsoft stuff and the clouds and all that. The number one killer for small business owners that I've found so far is being unorganized. Being unorganized. Period. Being unorganized. I walk in there and say, hey, where's such and such? Oh, where'd I put that? I walk in there and say, hey, where's your regulations for this? Oh, hey, how much did you spend last month? Oh, I got to look it up. When there's so much technology and software, you can literally take your phone. Dude gave me a business card. He's like the sales whatever guy. He gave me this card. He's like, John, you got this NFC? I'm like, what's an NFC, right? I know that. So anyway, so now if I tap my card against your phone, my contact information goes into your phone. Saves a lot of time, a lot of paper, right? Happy trees. They're joining the crowd. So there's just so much technology out there. You know, there's accounting in the cloud. There's everything in the cloud. And I want you to get organized. And this goes back to setting the plan in motion. You're so busy out there hustling and struggling that you won't take time just to plan. And so one guy I heard say, you're too busy sawing down the tree to just go sharpen the blade. Ideas. Some good ideas, some profitable. Some good, some profitable, some are powerful. So when it comes to ideas, it's okay to be wrong. I'm wrong like 5-6 times a day. All I hear is, you're wrong. Because I'm always pushing it to the nth degree. Every time we get on air, I'm wrong. Something doesn't work. Because every week I'm saying, okay, last week we did 3 cameras. Let's see if we can do 4 cameras this week. Why? It's just how I'm wired. Because I want to keep pushing it. So I go in there and then guess what? System doesn't work. I'm running the bandwidth too high. I'm doing something wrong. I'm wrong. You look crazy for a minute because like, well, he doesn't look too professional pulling his hair out. Oh, he doesn't have any hair. Wow, look at this. Okay. Anytime you want to get the feed up, buddy, let's do it. But it's by doing that the next week I'm pushing 4 cameras out. We got overlays, we got graphic designs, and now I have one more unit, one more sellable, one more product that I can say, hey, let's just attach $5,000 a month to that product because we're the only one in the game that can do it so far. Why? Because the rest are happy. So you got to be willing to do wrong. Corporate are not paid to take chances. You as a small business owner, you can take chances as long as it's a calculated mathematical risk and you know what you're doing. Okay, be flexible. Okay, don't commit good people and money to ideas that are not. It happens all the time. It goes back to following dreams that are nightmares. It sounds good up front because, look, it's all you know, it's all you can do, it's all you feel you can do, so you're going to drive it because you think that's your only option. Then you start putting your hard-earned money and all your friends behind it, and your friends are like, yeah, sure, I'll buy 3 more of your coffee or whatever you're selling. Absolutely. And then when you go under, they go under, everybody goes under, then what? Well, I got another idea. It's not going to fly. So be flexible. Be able to change. Look up information. Find out where the money's going. They don't hide it from you. If you ever listen to CNBC, they absolutely can't stand the consumer. Everything's about, yeah, it was really sad today, Jim. Did you hear that? Gas prices are down. Oh, my gosh. Oh, food prices are crashing, too. I can't believe things are getting cheap. This is horrible. Just turn on CNBC. That's what they say all day. The minute the market starts to go down, and you're not spending as much because you're saving, The minute the price of things that you actually want start going down, they're sad. They're like, oh, did you hear that, Laura? We did, and the whole market is sad right now that gas is down to $3 a gallon from $3.85. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to go and quit my job. So you got to understand this group. Anyway, be aware. Always seek new solutions. I can't just know your surrounding. Know the people involved. People are everything. Say, business is person to person. It's not computer to computer, gas tank to tire. It's people to people. And the more people you can engage, preferably people that have money or influence, the faster you can move up through the ranks. The faster you can take your business to the next level. And again, it doesn't matter. I don't even carry business cards. If it weren't for the fact that I'm partnered up with a bunch of people that I have to be this public-like figure, I don't carry cards. Because, well, now I got this thing, I guess I'll use it. But most times when you're running in circles that people that have value, they own stuff, what are they going to exchange cards for? They don't have to call you to sell anything. They're good. And so when they want to talk to you, if they have anything to talk about, they'll call around, hey, who's that I met at the golf course? Who's that I met at the gym? Who's that I met at the spa? Oh, I want to talk to them again. Or they ask you on the spot, let's make a meeting, let's meet up. And so for the longest, you know, marketing experts used to give me the riot act. Oh, he's a marketing genius with no cards? Yeah, we just market in different areas. Period. No, I'm sorry, I didn't. But I get it a lot. And so now I have to carry cards like, sure, I mean, all you're going to do is put it in your CRM and start spamming me, but sure, hey, look, you know, I mean, what are you going to do for me, actually? Nothing. So why would I hand out a card? So anyway, be aware. So people are always seeking solutions to things that change. One thing I keep preaching is, how do I find really good deals? The only way I can get money is if something forces you to change your behavior pattern, period. Something forces you to change. And the three things that we've always noticed is, nature will force you in a minute. The earth cracks open, guess what? You're not going to go to work the same route you used to go, okay? Technology can change the game, but by far the most predictable and profitable way human behavior has changed is with laws and regulations. So I watch City Council, I watch C-SPAN, I watch the state, because when they enact a new piece of legislation and then they start to enforce it, you're going to have to do things a little differently. And the first one standing at the finish line waiting, so I always use the illustration of, let's say they say it's illegal to drive around with a cracked windshield. So I hear this and I say, buy up all the sand you can find and get all the glass stands. We're about to go into the glass repair business. And they're saying, why? Why? It doesn't make sense, because they're about to pass this law. When it goes in, they're going to get them. And then say a year later, because you got to plan out. That's why I can't deal with people who need the money now. I need it now, because investment community don't work on now. A year later, past the 6 months before, the first little red lights pop on. Woo! Whip, 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 whip. Cop jumps out, says, you know why I'm giving you a ticket? No, you got a cracked windshield. Get it repaired. Have a wonderful $175 day. And I already know I priced them at $125, so it's cheaper to get it fixed than to pay a $175 ticket. And the next thing you know, it runs in the paper, man gets ticket for whatever. Guess what? We're first in game, we're getting paid. Does it make sense? So in Houston, if they said tow trucks are going to be allowed to pull, everybody went out and bought tow trucks, started bidding on, hey, let our trucks pull them, let our trucks pull them. You think about it? Okay? Let our trucks pull it. You got to follow law. You got to follow the that change human behaviors. If you're happy with your barber, you're happy with your realtor, you're happy with your whatever, if you're happy with them, chances are you're not going to change no matter how high you are in the SEO search engine Google ranks, no matter how pretty your website is. But as soon as somebody is forced to do things a different way, they're going to search for an option that either complements what they have or repeats what they already were doing, period. And that's where you have the opportunity to make money. Okay, be smart. Bottom line of this is, look, lynda.com, YouTube, Google this, Bing it if you want to. The bottom line is there's no way in this world you could tell me you don't know the answer to something. Because you can even go so far as just ask your phone, what do you want to know? How tall is the Empire State Building? Approximately, do you want it in feet or in meters? So when I'm talking to people and they go to these workshops and they're like, so if my business, and I'm like, why are they asking this question? Why are they asking this question if somebody doesn't even own a business? They just work here. Why are you asking a question to this person? And so if my business, so I'm like, there's like 500 YouTube videos from every university in the world that have their experts talking about why don't you just go, I don't get it. Because you're trained to be a manager, and as a manager, you can't move until corporate tells you to move. And you're locked into that mentality. Versus as an investor, you're going to scrap and do what you have to do. So I encourage you to be smart. Why? Because you can now. Because the internet isn't going to stay free. We know how this all works, so get it while you can. Be defensive. It's okay to say no, 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 yes to people. I just got into the habit of saying, no, I'm good. I don't want to do a deal with you. Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, oh, yeah, we'd be millionaires. Billionaires, that's right, billions. But you got to learn to say no. Because if you can't say no, they're going to make a yes out of you. I just totally made that part up. But anyway, it's important because, again, I see so many people that, and I do it, I overbook myself, I overextend myself, believing your excitement is going to somehow transfer into productivity. And it doesn't. It just transfers into me losing money and time. So be defensive. Once you become an investor, you become the highest person on the food chain. The reason investors, the reason the famous people, the reason the stars, the reason all the high-profile people are so defensive is everybody's gunning for it. They either want what you have, they want to know what you know, or they want to say they know you. So be as defensive as possible from here on out. Be attentive. I always say this. If you're sitting in a meeting with me, and you got a lot of great ideas, but you can't do any of them, stop talking. Stop talking. And if you're in a meeting and people start giving you ideas and they can't actually do it, tell them to stop talking. Because that means you're wasting our time. Because I can sit here all day and dream up things we could do. But unless you can do it. So the cool thing is if you're a table, which means you bring something like, you see, look, check this out. As a table, what do? You sit your most expensive prized items on it, right? What does the chair get? Yeah. So when people say, let's pull our chairs up to the table, like, you're a chair, I'm a table. Because at the end of the day, whether you step up or not, I can still do it. I can still run it. I can still set it up. And that's going back to the technology piece. Enable your business with technology and stop using technology for the sake of entertaining yourself or looking cool and fancy. Well, I just put this new portal together and I'm who cares? Just build something that works, that can make money, convert money, store money, transfer money. That's it. That's all we need it for. So be a table. Be the economic center. When people come to you, it's got to be because they know you can do something they can't do, and you got to find some way to deny them access until they got a good trade for you. Be accountable. You're the team captain. You know that. If you're in charge of a business, you're the team captain. Understand this. No matter what you set up, no matter how much you enjoy doing what you're doing, 99.9% of the people around you are going to drop the ball, walk off, run off, steal off, jog off. It's just how it's wired. You're not in a corporate structure where you can punish and reward. You're in an independent entrepreneur with wannabe entrepreneur. Everybody's scrapping to get a couple pennies because nobody figured out you got to hang with money to get money. So they're all running around bumping into each other just hoping they can find some synergy long enough to make another $1,500 client. So just be as accountable as possible and realizing at the end of the day, you're the team captain and the team is you. Period. There is no, until you get to where you can scale up and pay people and give them benefits, it's just you. You got 10 employees and some got benefits and some don't. You're not a business. You're a solo entrepreneur with some people who decide to come hang out with you for a while. Okay? Because most of our companies face this over and over again. We got a nice business. It's rising, it's rising, it's rising. Big company comes along and be like, how much are they paying you? I'll give you 15 cents more. No, make it 32 cents more and I'll give you 5 days off and I'll throw in medical. $1,000 deductible, but you'll be all right. You're like, oh my gosh, I finally got insurance. Can't match that. Can't match that. So just be mindful of it. You're the team captain. So just a few things, and really we're done now. So these are the things that I hear that I realize as soon as I hear them, I'm running for the hills. So when a typical mainstream business owner says to me, business is my passion. I know it'll work because I believe. If I work harder and smarter, I will succeed. A lot of that think and grow rich stuff, right? Improved process can grow my business. Once I have my dream team, it's on. Business plans are essential for success. And my favorite, I want to work on my business, not in my business. As soon as I hear any of this, manage your red flag. That means you're going to waste all my time and all my money. It's over. We're going to spend 4 months, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months down the road before I realize this dog ain't going to jump. This dog ain't going to bark. This dog is dead. And you know what they're going to say to me? I think we should have stuck it out a little longer. I think when you said we were supposed to advertise and you said don't do social media, that's where we failed. It's your fault. Because I'm not a team captain. They're not going to take ownership of it. So that's why I'm like, with all of you, look, if you have a skill set and it's in the professional service, go get a product. Service bites. Get a product. I don't care if it's a house. I don't care if it's a widget. I don't care if it's a bomb detector. Whatever you get, go get a product. Okay? Products can be by machines. Training people, empowering people, staffing up people. No. Doesn't work for long. Every company deals with the exact same problem, even at this level. Service companies are hard for small businesses to make money. You got to find a product. You got to use the money you're making from service while it's good. Buy a product. I don't care if it's a warehouse. I don't care if you license something. I don't care what it is. Small business owners have to be in that whole product side. So, now, I'm willing to listen if you say to me, my job is a job or business. They're one and the same. Most people should quit their business and go get a job. But they're so turned inwards, and it's all about their ego, that they won't do it. I'm not giving up, because it says if you give up, I'm 99% there, right? And only 1% I would have made it. Yeah, what universe? It's an investment tool, people. So if a job was willing to pay me $1 million, I would never start a business, ever. Now, I'd take my money and buy investment pieces, but why would I start a business? Why would I want the headache of people? We only start profitable ventures. It goes back to, if you know the sand is going to be needed, you know the glass technicians are going to be needed, why would I start businesses that didn't already have a guaranteed contract, a guaranteed market behind it? That's why when people leave these big companies and say, John, I'm going to start a restaurant. Why? Unless you have the sole contract to feed everybody at ExxonMobil. Why would you start a restaurant? I love to cook. It's always been in me, and I just think cooking is where it's at. I can make a restaurant work. I'm like, what? Okay, can't argue with that one. Access denied. Or they get out and they want to... Anyway, so I hear a lot of business. When you leave corporate and you don't maximize your contacts that are still in corporate to push products back into corporate, then I can't talk to you. That's why for the longest we look for talent and we look for connected people. We plan the market and the operations. It goes back to that project management stuff. It is so easy to understand what I want to do because it's already written down. And skipping around, we focus outwards to markets that trade, okay? It's never about me, it's about what the market wants to do. So if a bunch of kids are sitting at the University of Illinois or University of St. Thomas, and I keep hearing the same problem over and over again, and nobody's addressing it, and I can go in and get a letter of intent, I'm going to package that thing up and go hand it off to somebody that really wants to do it, and I'm going to make money on the transaction. Does that make sense? All of you have the ability to do the same thing. We scale to comfort. My job at the end of the day is make working class people feel comfortable. Give them more Texans. Give them more Scandal. Give them more Jordans. Give them whatever they want. Just make them sleep good at night. Give them more alcohol. Whatever you need. That's my job. That's not what an investor thinks. They'll let their money buy that stuff for their kids, maybe. But at the end of the day, everybody in here that's paying rent has one goal: to make you feel good, to make you forget the fact that you have to get up, go to work, get told what to do, slapped around a little, fight through traffic, pay that mortgage to get what we got. So we got to make you feel good when you come in here. Can you imagine if we made you feel bad? You wouldn't come back, right? So again, guilt and ego. If every time you walk through that door of your business, you don't make them feel like, come on in, eat a cookie, sit down and be a comfort. I know your boss is a jerk, but we're here. You're not catering to your customer. So keep it in mind. Let's see, we bring value instead of products to market. Right, so at the end of the day, I said buy products, but you want products to have value on the open market. Period. You buy stuff that does not have value from the day you start, which I see a lot of this. Hey, I bought some land out in so-and-so. Why? Were you on the planning commission or something? You know something we don't want? Are they dropping some railroad tracks through there or something? No, I just, it was in the family. It was a good investment. It's land. Buy land. You can always protect your money in land. No, you'll burn through taxes and you'll have, what are you thinking? Oh, yeah, phooey on you. I got an LLC. I'm like, okay, works for me. Business, again, are an investment tool. That's the main thing I can't stress enough. We won't go through that one because it's just mean. Bottom line, I'll go through it, but don't watch, all right? Know yourself. This is how we start businesses when I'm sitting. Know yourself. Know your mind. Get it right. Make sure you come in as an investor. Know your body. Stay in shape. There's nothing worse than you sitting at a computer for hours at a time and things just start to fall off of you. Happens all the time. Know your soul. Where's your heart? Really, follow your heart. Not in business, in what is right for you. You take all that and that becomes the foundation. Then you go, know your assets, okay? The 3 big assets are really 4 things. Things represent the top assets. What do you have as things? Laptops, computer, cars, stuff you can borrow, get from friends, whatever. People, huge. Who's in your circle? So many times we start companies and I'm thinking, why are we struggling if your brother was the judge or the county commissioner or whoever? Oh, I never really looked at it like that. Should have went through a Rolodex, shouldn't we? And it happens all the time. Why are we struggling if your cousin is a programmer? Oh, I never really looked at it like that. Because we didn't turn outwards. Knowledge, what do you have to learn? Or what do you already know? Many people, you got all kinds of skill sets. You need to do inventory on it. We take that and we apply this. This becomes your personal inventory. We look at your potential. But before we get to your potential, we ask yourself, what are your needs? Everybody starts a business in a different spot, in a different place. Everybody ramps up their business in a different place. So are your needs financial? Are your needs time-wise? You got a kid now. You want to spend more time at home. You want your child to travel with you. You just got married, whatever it is. But you have to understand this before you make any decisions on a business. Next, ask yourself, what are you willing to commit? And that's hard for people. You don't think about this till you're knee-deep in it. I'm going to be XYZ. Didn't realize XYZ required ABC. You take all that, and here's where your potential comes in. When you mix your compassion, meaning you feel for people, you got to figure out, for instance, what makes you tick. I get a kick out of talking to business owners for one reason or another. So I spend most of my time in the space of figuring out how can I make startup, development, and growth easier for somebody like yourself. How? What tools are available? What's going on around? You take that and you multiply it by the size of the community. How big is the community that I'm serving? You got a little bitty community that likes to do, say, like quilting, and they just take over the George R. Brown. Or you got something really big like the rodeo. And the quilt show is huge. It's the largest in the world. But anyway. So you measure the size of your community, meaning who can you relate to? That's what the compassion part is about. And then what's your contribution? Are you saving them money, increasing their value, extending their value, making them more comfortable? What is it within that community that you actually understand and care about that you're willing to contribute? Case in point, guy comes into the office, he's like, hey, John, I want to start a JanaClean. I'm like, why? He's like, because it seems like it makes money. What's your passion? I like to race cars or race motorcycles. I said, well, why don't you do something wrapped around racing cars and motorcycles? Well, how do you make money off of that? Go out there and videotape it. I used to do this stuff. We're vain. We love to see us stand it up, pop it up, wreck, all that stuff. He goes out there to his community that is fairly large, because remember, when you rack a motor or rack a track or a bike or a car in one of these trucks, that's $300,000 worth of metal sitting in the back of there, okay? This ain't a cheap sport. So then I said, go out there, videotape your community, get you a couple duplexers in the back of the truck, put some remote cameras both in, videotape the stuff. He gets out there, man, he's killing it. They're all, hey, you get that? I was race 7, man, I stood it up, man, I beat Leroy. Paying. $40 for a DVD. You sell 500 DVDs in a night, guess what? You made 20 grand for the evening. That's like nightclub money, seriously, on alcohol. That was his contribution. Videotape for a bunch of people who love to see themselves. And he was willing, because he had the compassion and the drive, to stand out there from 11 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the morning the next day, because he was doing that anyway at the track. Make sense? Okay. So you take all that, let's see, invest in your potential. So it goes like this. When building your company, we now know the community needs. In his case, they want it to be captured forever. That's what the need was. Community resources, they had deep pockets. These folks had $300,000 cars, $500,000 cars. They were racing for titles. They got money, so they have the resources. So then what we do, we call it deploying the value platform. Basically, it means each one of you should master the art of communication, because you got to be able to talk to folks and you got to be able to understand folks. Psychology, because remember, it's all about human behavior. You can't go to the track and say the wrong thing. You might rub Bubba wrong. So you got to understand his mindset. When you say Ford and he's in a Chevy, things can get ugly. And you better have project management. So this slide is almost 7, 8 years old, and it really hasn't changed because people haven't changed much. You take all that, you package it up as XYZ's Video Excitement Company. You flip it out, you create a delivery solution system, which basically means you got a distribution channel for it, and you got a marketing channel for it. In other words, how do you get the stuff to them, and how do you let them know? And it goes out to that target market, which are people who love to race all weekend long. So with that, let's see. We don't need, okay, so I will put this up because it's mean. Work harder, and this one's old. Smarter, harder working. If you add that with employee, more work, less pay. The smarter you are at your job, the harder you work at your job, the less money you make. Anybody know about this? You're like, yeah. As an entrepreneur, if you add smarter, harder working to entrepreneur, more pay, more play. Because you start systemizing, you get things together. Now you got 3 people underneath you, things are starting to pick up. So again, you can work hard here or you can work hard here. The sad part is you can run your business just like this. Because I see people all day long getting new contracts and adding more work to themselves, making less money with every new client they bring in. Just happy, man, we're the fastest growing company. Look at the business journal. We're number something this month. Man, you're about to go broke and your hair's falling out. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Like, but hey, you made the top 50. So, yeah, we won't use that one. So anyway, here's me. There's the information. I don't think, yeah. So anyway, there's the contact information, and I appreciate each of you coming out. You know, we got a little time. We got like an hour left, so I want to open it up for everybody to either, if you got something to say, the mic is open. You can come up here and tell us about your business, what you do. Let's get to know you. It's more of a meetup than anything. That's why I'm excited that Microsoft is like, hey, Small Business Week, come out, John. I'm like, cool. And if you get a chance, tune into News 92 FM for the Executive Entrepreneur Hour with Jonyprofit. So with that said, who wants to go first to introduce themselves? Because you have no choice. Okay, the marketing business card person. Not playing.
Right up there. Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph. I got to get that business card you have.
Which, oh, this one? Yeah, they have them up here.
Okay. I have a firm, a public relations firm.
You are not doing your job.
Our clients for artists, nonprofits, and small business.
Hey, okay, so part of the radio show, I would like to know, what is it that your business needs to grow? What's the one thing on your wish list that if you had it today, your business can grow? And everybody's watching you on the universe, so go ahead.
If I had the system you have with the radio?
Yeah. So if you had a radio show?
No. I do.
Okay.
I actually do have a radio show.
Okay.
KCLH, 12:30 a.m. every first and third Saturday. Okay.
Yes.
However, if I had the Wi-Fi, 5 cameras.
Oh yeah? We're gonna work out a deal here, huh?
My business, the main thing that's missing in my business, I think, is
get into there so they can.
The main thing that's missing in my business is systems, which I know I heard.
Hey,
but it is what it is. And the second thing that I know that I've been
get real up. There you go.
I have been going after customers who really don't have the budget to invest in what it is that they need. So, yeah.
Okay.
And
yes, bring it.
the worst thing that I do is everything, like, he just tore me up. Because this is like my passion. I love it. I really prefer to work for nonprofits because I believe in a lot of things that they do, but nonprofits have a small budget, even large nonprofits. They don't invest a lot in PR and marketing. So if I can, but the goal is to be the bridge that you talked about, to connect those individuals or those companies who have needs with large investors who have greed.
Okay. Your name again?
Seconda Joseph.
Okay.
Grass is Greener PR at Greener PR.
Okay. And so just the point, yes, give it up for, give her something for being first. Okay, so when it comes to nonprofits, if you're working with them, and I reserve this, try to keep it to myself, but why not? You know, we're broadcasting live around the world. So when it comes to nonprofits, keep this in mind. In a for-profit investment community, in a very pragmatic, very direct way, the job of a nonprofit is to clean up the mess of the for-profits, okay? So if I pollute the soil, if I dirty up the air, if I leave a bunch of people homeless, if I do whatever for the sake of the mighty dollar, then I have to set aside a certain amount of money to go to someone that claims they're going to go make it all better. And so I say to you, make sure that when you're talking to nonprofits, that they're packaging the market, the dolphins, the battered wives, the children, or whatever. They're packaging them in a way that is for sale for corporate's PR department. So that when they reach into their budget and say, channel so-and-so's outside, you know we kind of dropped the ball on that, what do we do? Oh, Say your name again. Seconda can fix it. And then Seconda is going to go out there, they're going to rally up the troops, they're going to get out there, and they're going to either pick up the trash or build a couple houses or give a few people a few jobs, and we're going to get the press we need from it and be happy ever after. That's how nonprofits work. That's why every time I see somebody poor, want to start a nonprofit, I got to be like, it's not going to work no matter how you slice it up. Because most people want to go in and fix the problem that they dealt with when it comes to nonprofits. Because again, ESH and SCORE work hand in hand with the nonprofit side. So they come in there and they're like, yeah, I want to start a nonprofit because we didn't have food, or I used to get this happen to me. And I'm like, well, we need to find a company that's starving you. We got to figure this out, because that's the only group on earth that's going to pay the bill for that. Because in a democratic liberal setting, everybody's got issues. You got issues if you're gay, you got issues if you don't have a leg, you got issues if you don't get enough streets in your you got issues for everything. And it stretches the whole gamut, so everybody has their own interest. So you have to go out, and I'll just say to you, package. Teach them the package, and you can get them paid. Who's going next? Who's going next? Who's going next? Okay, cool. There we go.
I am Alan Garcia. I have two companies. One is a user-centric product design firm. We work with large organizations to help them improve their UI. We also do app development. We also have another company that's called Creativity. It's a recruitment firm. We staff, we place designers, UX designers, interaction designers. There's a huge need in the Houston market. We've only just started working in the Houston market as of January. We came from New York and London, where we had a lot of clients in the financial industries. Now we're coming to Houston. My biggest pain point is scalability. Because we offer a very select service, it's very difficult for me to find people who can recognize the talent that we can. It's also difficult for us to find the type of talent that we try and place in this market. So that's difficult. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're reaching out to see what entrepreneurs are doing, seeing if there's some opportunities to partner up with them and help them develop some products, and see if there's some interesting synergy that can happen.
Absolutely love it. Big hand. Okay, so we'll connect. You can run with me. We can, because here's the thing. So I'm involved in a lot of different agencies around the city that have to do with business development, whether it's the government procurement or a lot of the different agencies. Okay, and so what you said is correct. When it comes to user interface, things like that, huge. That's one of the few areas that I would say it's a service, but you actually build products. Because you need service-type talent, but you build real-life products. And, build it once, make millions off of it, like, twice. So, definitely, we'll hang, we'll connect, because I know some people you need to meet. Because, again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Welcome to Houston. Welcome to the universe. Welcome to the world. Who's next? Why are you looking away? There he comes.
Good evening, everybody.
All right, he knows how to use the mic. Good. There you go. Okay.
Certainly glad to be here tonight. First of all, so I want to say thank you, John, for such a wonderful
Absolutely.
demonstration on tonight. One of my things, I'm into marketing, advertising, and promotion, as well as I sell insurance. But I try to think the problem I'm having in my business is to find products that are more in demand. Because sometimes most people don't buy what they want. They don't buy what they need, they buy what they want. So insurance is one of those products that people are not necessarily wouldn't even have to healthcare insurance. Everybody needs that, but not everybody has purchase it.
Right.
There's not a large demand for it. Demand and break. So that's what I'm into, trying to find out what products are more so in demand. My story just be Microsoft. Here on the night.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Okay. All right, big hand. Are you coming up to give us some? All right.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Shay.
Let me see if I can turn that up. Hold on. Is there a volume on this? Volume. Nope. Okay, keep going.
They're hiding the volume in the back.
Oh.
All right. So I'm Jonyprofit. My business is Strategic Connections, and I'm an HR support service company. I help small businesses to bring and hire qualified candidates. And for all the people that are here in my business only, I do some executive coaching. So you folks that want to go to the next level of their career, I certainly help them make the relationships to make that happen.
Okay, so again, what do you do? What's your pain point? What do you need? How can we order? I mean, how many deliver? What do you need?
What do I need?
Yeah.
I don't think I need anything right now. John hates that.
Customers?
I mean, you always need customers, no doubt. So if anybody's looking to hire as far as a small business, I'll be more than happy to assist, or if you know someone as far as executive coaching that's still in corporate and they need to leave because they're going to kill somebody. I have cards in the back.
Roy's still looking for you. He hit me on LinkedIn. Seriously, yes. He's looking for you. He's like, hey, John, hook it up. Okay, so who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? I'm just going to go to Abe, just so you can introduce yourself. So Abe is a longtime friend. Looks like 3 years now, so yeah, we go way back. Babies and pacifiers. So just tell them what you do, who you are.
Hello, I'm Abe Gonzalez. I'm the owner of RPC Global. We're a computer recycling company. So when you go back to your offices or back to your businesses, and you got those cell phones piling up, or those old computers piling up, or those laptops piling up, give me a call. I'll go pick them up. That's what I do. And actually, at this location, John, I love it because I see all this technology around here, and I know one day
it's gonna be
in my shop. Once we get the equipment, we refurbish it, we introduce it back into the community where it has a second chance at proving useful. And I believe that's the value we do provide. But the main reason I'm here tonight is actually about the value of the person. So you're invited to events. You're hosting some kind of event, then you're invited to it. They'll even treat you to it, et cetera, et cetera. How many events should you go to? And then you talked about saying no. How do you say no to something as well?
I love it.
And once you realize that some of the events are not going to pan out, how do you say no for the next time without hurting that relationship with that person?
Okay, I love it. Give him a round of applause. Say it again. Hey, Gonzalez. Okay, so the hardest part when you're an entrepreneur is not having a PA or second person with you. Someone's got to be good cop, bad cop, okay? Because no, you can't keep saying no, especially if somebody really loves you. They're eventually going to stop dealing with you, period, you know? So you always have to be too busy for the rest of the world. That's the beautiful part about investors. You just don't call up most hedge funds and most investment community people and say, hey, I want to meet up with you. You got gatekeeper after gatekeeper. And that's the beauty of having, like, in this case, like Google Voice and all these different layers or Ring Central where they call in and go through a menu, they email you, it automatically kicks them something back in the CRM. But when it comes to events, your time is all you have because money's make-believe. So you have to already know that whole project management thing. Think about it like this. If you use a business plan to build a house versus a business plan or a project software to build a house, which one's going to work better? Because if I use a business plan to build a house, it's going to say I'm going to put up fluffy carpet, I want a grass in the front yard, and you have a project schedule, it tells you exactly what day the concrete's poured, what day it's going to cure, what day you can start dropping beams, what day the inspectors are coming out. So when you start thinking about your marketing calendar and how it ties into your return on investment, you already know during this time of year the only thing going on, the only people buying are the following. And I need to be at this event, that event, and this event, you know, which one they are. Anything else that comes up is a no, but you give it to somebody else and say, tell them I'm so busy because we're expanding. Tell them I'm so busy because we just launched into new markets. I'm so busy. The busier you get, which is kind of, you know, the perception side of it, the more they're going to wait it out. I tell you, I got people that have been waiting almost 2 years for me to finally sit down and have a meeting with. You know, one day I get crazy and I do it and I end up regretting it, but the point is, they wait a long time, you know, because I knew there's nothing in it, but I'm like, okay, come on, sure, let's go. And then I get my Starbucks or my $4 dinner or whatever, and I'm like, thanks. So what do you think about my business? But you got to find some type of either digital or real PA. Like I use VC to VCITA. Anyway, it's an online scheduler kind of thing. And then through another group. So my online schedulers, when I get invited to stuff like that, really cuts down a lot. Because you look at the calendar, I'm not available. I lock my calendar out anyway. It can tie into Google Calendar or whatever, but If you say, hey, John, I want to meet with you. Okay, go check my calendar real quick and see if I'm available. They run online, they check it. Man, you're booked up. When's the next available? Let me get back to you. You know, and yeah, so you have to move. But as far as picking what to go to, it's like building a house. You're not doing it all willy-nilly. If there's not an absolute return, like there's someone there that either you can't get through through the country club, or you can't get to them because, you know, your kid or something you volunteered for, you can't get to them, then that's the only time you get to them. Sure, you go to that event, but you go in there knowing exactly what you're there to meet them for. Yeah.
So, let's say you do go down to the local chamber of commerce.
Okay.
And you go down there, you're talking with other people, like you said, who don't have money.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, we're selling to each other, whatever. But at the same time, let's say on another channel, your customers asking, what are you doing out there in the community? How are you getting involved, et cetera, et cetera. So you kind of have this trade-off that you got to, there's a little bit of give and take.
Yeah.
How do you manage that?
Okay, so when customers are saying, like, being present in the community, remember, you're an investor, so you always want to be getting pulled up. You don't want to have to be pulling people up. So, case in point, you want to stay busy? Instead of you saying you went down to the chamber and you did all these functions, what you're going to do is, this month I was in Austin, petitioning with a group on your behalf. This month or this week I was in D.C. on your behalf. This week I went to a summit in Europe on your behalf. And that's how I'm helping the community. I brought a delegate back to town to learn more about recycling, to help invest in the community, versus, yeah, we all got together and Stan got some siding, I got a new print company, and Doug, what you do? I got hot shot delivery. And so, again, when you stop thinking like a manager and going to manager rallies, because I worked in corporate, I know what manager rallies are like. You got the mad ones, you got a couple happy ones, but they all hate their store. They pretend like they like their store because it pays decent money when the years are good. But you're not going to get anywhere in a manager's meeting. Now you go to a shareholders meeting and you bring that good news back, things are much better. And so I'm saying, as you're planning out, you're moving forward, just make sure that each event you're going to is going to put money, is going to put you one step closer to the people who actually write the real checks and have the deeds to the property you're moving around. And when it comes to catering to or letting the local community know, bring the stories back. Because they're going to listen to you knowing that you went to Davos and did something big than know that you were at the new grand opening. I mean, they were at the grand opening too. Like, yeah, I saw it too. I got a balloon and a pin. And so, again, in the corporate world, that puts you higher up on the food chain because they know you know how to move around. They know you're not a manager. They don't need managers. They hire managers. Why would they give you a premium to your business if you're just another cog in the wheel? You're just another source point. So do it big. That's why I always say, do it big or go home. Okay, who else? We're doing good on time. Huh? We good? You want to introduce? Okay, cool. Hold on. He walked from here to L.A. Okay, here you go. I'm serious.
Thank you. I don't have to say that. Hello, my name is Noah Rattler. I did walk to Los Angeles to raise awareness for homelessness. That was a philanthropic venture. I now have a widget, which is a children's book. It's called Noah's Walk. It's about my walk from here to Los Angeles. What we are trying to do, I believe my best customer is government organizations like school boards, school districts. And so I think we just published the book a couple of months ago, and right now we're trying to figure out ways to get in front of the line and get in the right line, where the people who are making the decision on which books go out to the school districts, which books are suggested to teachers' organizations, which books are suggested to parents, like suggest the reading list to parents across the country. We're trying to figure out how to get in the front of the line and have those individuals who make those suggestions and recommendations suggest to us.
Awesome. All right. Feet are tired. Okay, so just to your point, the big thing there is you join the board, you join the volunteer groups, you get part of the PTA. You got to realize where you put pressure, okay? You got to find the pressure points because, again, it's about human behavior. So it's quick to find either politicians campaign on it, they're running for a seat on the ISDs or on the college board. You approach them and you become a value added to what they're doing. You tell them this is what I've achieved, this is where I want to go, and again, I can package what you're selling to a specific group. So in your case, you're going to bring the people, the influence. So again, whether you have to get with somebody on city council or on the school board, you need to volunteer. I can't stress enough how all that business card handing out and marketing, that's not how business gets done. Think about who you invite to your house. Did they have to rank high on the search engine optimization to get into your house? Did they? Think about it. Did they? Say, I'm scared of you. Like, Google me. Oh, you're important. Come on in. Yeah, it's like, you're the whole front. So it's important to realize that you absolutely have to bring something to market, but you absolutely have to be in the mix. Again, after the draft and before the draft, the same kids are able to do the same thing, right? But how they were packaged and how they met the eye of each coach, each general manager, is how they got picked. It was not picked on they could all run up the field at a certain speed, they could all jump a certain height. No, they said they're coachable, they understand, they can work within our organization. That's how the people above you that want to pull you up are thinking too. You're coachable, you understand, you can work within the organization. So if you say, hey, because I meet plenty of people that write kids' books, okay? And the ones that do well are part of foundations. They're there helping write checks with people. They're help spending that money for foundation. They're volunteering 20 hours cooking and barbecuing and all that at somebody's rich mansion in River Oaks. And they're around that money and they're making it happen. And once they realize they can trust you and they realize your heart is good, there's a higher percentage or probability they'll give you money. But otherwise, you're just one of 35 people that have just written a book, published to Amazon, and want to go out and change the world. So volunteer, get connected. All right, so we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for everybody for coming. I want you to mix and mingle and eat the rest of that food so Microsoft doesn't have to do something with it because I'm on a diet. Thank you, everyone.